All right, so I've written down some instructions on how to get up to speed with what I've tried, what's worked, and what is not yet working. So, at a high level, I've got a virtual environment set up in Pycharm here. I've got some automated tests that I can run that will verify that the state machine works the way I expect here. Let's see here. I believe that is this one. Yep. Test fsm init.py. And then this has a bunch of the modes that we'd like. Um, it's pretty stripped down. But at least you can do, some basic callbacks in here when it's operational. And if you want to verify that it's working properly on your machine, you just have to execute the corresponding test here. And to do that, you'll want to go back to the Readme if you haven't already done the instructions to set up your virtual environment. Get on the right version of Python here, 3.11.1. So now let's run the automation here. So to do so, you verify you have the venv active. You're scoped in here. Oh, and then I also need to change directory to the Python scripts debugging folder. Yep, and then we can just dir in there. Yep, and we see both of these files are there. Okay, so you don't need to worry about that other stuff. It's not relevant for the debugging here. Okay, so I'm going to now type Python and test underscore fsm and tab until I get the post automation. Okay, so now I execute that, and you see a bunch of errors, but if you scroll up, you can see the thing actually did work. We got a bunch of success here. We entered the flying spaghetti monster, the state machine was successfully bound, and the current state is attract. All right, so that's cool. That part was incredibly easy. But now the struggle begins. So what I've done is I've set up a Pycharm project, or sorry, a TouchDesigner project, and that's also checked into the repo, so you should just be able to sync it and open it. And that has reference to these files. Let's see if I can move my recorder. Nope. All right. Sorry about that. Move these over here. I believe it's this one. Yeah, okay. So when TouchDesigner starts up, I believe it is executing this file here, startstatemachine.py. And in fact, you will see some debug output to this effect. You'll see that message delivered, and then I believe that message and this one. So now we're going to fire up TouchDesigner and see if it worked, at least that far. So it should just be that v1 tow. Okay, there we go. Look, we got success of the virtual environment path having been added to syspath. And there's our path, just like we'd expect. Let me just make sure I got that right. Ah, well, that's my old project, but it does work the same way in this case. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and fix that hard-coded value. But in any case, it is going to give the same result once I point it to this one, which is otherwise identical. So now, if we start running our manual tests here from the README, I wish it would let me click past there. That's all right. I can be creative. All right. So from the README, if we scroll down to the bottom, there's the run book, and then, yep, the first thing we want to grab is the op state initialize extensions. This is actually supposed to be executed before, we even get this far, but there's no indication that it was. So we'll fire that off now, and we'll see that it does create an object. So this is a excuse me, a hexadecimal value of some object created. Great. Well, now let's see if we can find out the path of it. Yes, we can. All right, so the path of the object. But what we can't find out is the object state. So if I do this, it has no attribute called state. But if I go in here to my container, I have given it the global op shortcut of state. And that is the op state, I believe, at the beginning of this expression here. And then the .ext.state extension is the explicit reference to this state extension, which I have wired in here. And I will show you now. Customize component. Okay, extensions. Boom, state extension. If we go edit, oops, hold on, I didn't want to edit. There we go. So this is the operator here for that state extension. Sorry, it's kind of hidden under my UI there. And then this is the one that is loaded on start, and it is referencing the Python state extension. So let's just make sure. I'm curious now if this is going. Yep, okay, so that's in fact referencing the correct one. I was suspicious now that it went to the old, but no, that one's good. Cool. All right, so that's what I would expect to see, I think, based on my research. And then if you click into state itself, you can see there's this, automatically generated boilerplate accessor code, I guess. I don't really understand it, but it seems correct. So yeah, this is definitely the extent of my knowledge right here. I hope you enjoyed how not to make a state machine in TouchDesigner.